morning, garden friends. This is Zulima in Dolores' garden, and on today we have such a busy day ahead of us. I have a new bed I need to fill out. I have 4 beds I need to harvest, empty out, and prepare to put my crop inside. It is time, and I'm super excited about that. So again, my name is Zulima in Dolores garden, Middle Georgia Zone 8B. So let's go ahead and get to this video. It might not be a lot of talking, but I hope you enjoy. All right, let's go. So what I'm doing here, for anytime I start a new bed, I use peat moss as a filler. I've done it for all my beds that you see in my garden. After I put peat moss, I use, well, normally I would have some sticks and stuff like that I will put down, but I don't have that. You can also put some cardboard down, whatever you need, branches, leaves. That way it will act as a filler. But what I normally use, if I don't have any of that, is peat moss, because I can get these huge bags and it just helps with the filling of my beds. And then I also, with my other beds, I use the Fox Farm, peat moss, and black cow. With this bed, I'm using the peat moss. These wood chips that you see around, that was from the trees that they cut down. And then compost. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and also put amendment. So when you're starting a new garden, you can decide on the type of soil you want. It can be a little bit pricey when you're having to fill beds. However, if you use your yard waste as a filler, it will make it more cost effective. Yes, the soil will settle, but you're always going to have to top off your beds anyway. So just to get started, go ahead and use what you have as a filler. And I always use peat moss. I've done that with each and every bed. I know some people don't like peat moss. I haven't had no issues with it. I'm not sure on the size of these beds. I will put it on the screen on this new bed. I'm not sure. So another good thing about when you are starting a new garden space, is a few things that you want to keep in mind. As far as location, where are you going to put your new bed? How much sun does that new bed get? You at least want to have at least 6 to 8 hours of sun for your crop. So you want to pick a place that will at least get 6 to 8 hours of sun. You also want to think about another good thing to think about when you're starting a garden or a new bed. Where is your water source going to come from? You don't want to have to lug water to your garden. So think about that, the water availability. Also, accessibility. So you want to be able to reach at least, in all areas of your bed. So that's why I asked my husband to do this walking, because I can reach from here. I can reach from the outside to every part of this bed. So after you found the perfect location for your garden that gets at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, then and then you also make sure, okay, is it accessible to water? Then what's your next step? You want to think about the things that you want to grow. You want to make sure what you're growing is in season one, or or you can just try it out, but you at least want to know what your growing zone is and what grow best in your area. I think that's another important thing. Now, after you found out perfect location, 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, water accessibility, and what you're going to grow, then we could talk about what we're going to fill it with. Which, like I said, can be a little pricey depending on the depth of your garden bed. So pick things that you can act as a filler. I use peat moss. Sometimes I use yard waste such as branches and leaves. Whatever you can get your hands on. I think it not to be too particular and too hard on yourself. And then after you find out, okay, how am I going to fill these beds? What I'm going to grow? You want to get to it. You always want to remember to give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace. If it doesn't work out, don't be too hard on yourself. Some things will work out, some things won't. And it's all about learning and experience and enjoying the process. Grow something that you can get an instant harvest, short day to maturity. That way you can get a little success. So I think those are the important things when you're wanting to start a garden. Space or a new bed. I think those are the important things. Now with this bed, we only got 6 bags of peat moss. Will this bed be topped off to the bent brim? Probably not. Will I be able to grow in it without it being topped off to the brim? I surely will. And guess what? I just keep filling it as it go, and it'll get all the way to the top. Your soil will settle. It's okay. This is gonna get me started, and I'm trying to get at least this done today, hoping to be able to plant in it. But I do have a prior engagement. My firearms instructor at Responsibly Armed asked me to help her get her garden together, and she has a small space, so I will be donating some plants and helping her plant some vegetables, which I'm super excited about. I always get excited when someone is starting a garden and always willing to help. That's just me. That's just who I am. I love to see others growing. And I will rake this out to even it. Right now I'm just working on breaking it up and getting it out of these bags. Next will come the hard part, shoveling and compost. This is such a great size bed. Thank you to my husband, Mr. Parks, building me this new bed. I'm gonna be able to grow so much stuff. So much stuff, and I'm super excited. All right, so I'm tired. Okay, so this is what I did. I filled those beds with first peat moss. I had 6 bags of peat moss to fill these beds just as a filler, because they are 3 cubic feet apiece. So I put 6 in there, and then I went around and shoveled some dirt and wood chips and put it in there. And as you see, it really did good with filling up those beds. So my last stop or step is to shovel my compost. My compost is what's gonna go on top. So first, before I shovel my compost, I will go ahead and get my amendments. I always amend with Nature Safe, a balanced fertilizer, meaning that all of the numbers are with it, close together. So it's an 855. Nature Safe. And then I'm going to put some alfalfa meal in there. I'm going to put some crab meal, and I'm going to put some azomite, which will add those micronutrients. And then after that, depending on what time it is, I will start removing the kohlrabi, collards, and cabbage, because guess what, guys, it's time to plant. So I'm super excited about planting those plants. I mean, those plants are massive over there, and I just really want to get them in the ground. So that's what we're going to do, depending on the time, because I have committed myself to helping my firearms instructor set up her garden. So I'm going to help her plant some things. Her garden is not that big, so it shouldn't take me that long, but I at least want to get some things done in my own garden, because I want to get all of these plants down by tomorrow. So if I don't finish this today, I will do it tomorrow, and most likely this will be a part 2, because we have so much stuff to plant. We have so much stuff to do in the garden, and I just want to take you along with in every step that I do, so you can see me, because you saw me start the seed, you saw me up pot, you saw me transition them outside, and I want you to see me plant it. I want you to see it grow, and then I want you to see me harvest it. And I think that's just like a follow through, and I absolutely love it. So let's go ahead, get some amendments in these beds, and then shovel some compost, because we got to move, babies. We got to move. It's time, and I'm super excited about that. So let me go ahead. I'll put you on. I'll bring you back after I do get all my amendments together. I'm adding the alfalfa meal, which is a great source of nitrogen. So that's what I'm adding right now. I will have to go get some more, because I need to do that other side, because this is a pretty big bed. And right now what I'm going to add is my Nature Safe 855. And I'm just putting that down before I add my compost. And then I will take my hand tiller and just work it in. I love that I can walk in the middle of this bed. I have my crab meal, azomite, blood meal, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some bone meal. Is this overkill? I don't think so. This is a new bed. I want to load it with some amendments so that my plants can be great. That's what I want. I want to give my plants all they need to be great. So I don't think it's overkill. Now I'm adding this crab meal, and I have done this to all my beds. This is not just this bed. All my beds get the same amendments. I might have to grab some more. All right, I grabbed some more blood meal for that middle area. And then I decided to go ahead and put some perlite to make it fluffy and airy. When I put that compost in. Is it necessary? Nope. Am I gonna do it? Yes. Last, I'm gonna go ahead and add some bone meal. Now my bone meal are in pellets, It's organic. I think I don't know what brand it is, but it was on sale. Looking great. All right. That's it. Now, let me come around to y'all so I can start walking and talking. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and shovel some compost, get it in here, till it, and let's see what time it is, and maybe I'll have time to go ahead and share with you what's gonna be planted in these beds. There's not much in here, so I'm gonna try to flip it. Listen, it might work, it might not work. We gonna see if it works, so I don't have to shovel no more. Maybe I can pull it over there. I did it, y'all. Jesus, fix it. Whew. All right, let's see how we're gonna do this. There you go. Sound like out of my shoe. A little chunky. Now I'll get the tiller. I have more compost, so not to fret. I have more compost. Then I'm gonna go shovel. And this is the horse manure that I'm going to shovel. Y'all, I had no idea my camera went off. Oh, fix it, Jesus. I'm gonna get it together, y'all, with this camera situation. But I finished planting. Had to be over 100 peppers. I don't know how many, but it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous, but it's ridiculous. I just finished planting all of those peppers, and I still have a few to plant, but they'll go inside the garden somewhere. But that's it for today, y'all. I can't do no more. I'm losing sunlight. Let me recap what I did. Y'all, my back hurt. What did I do? So this is a 10 by 10 bed that my husband built after the trees were removed. So I put 6 bags of peat moss in those bags as a filler. Then I shoveled all of the wood chips and put it in there. I emptied 1 bag of compost that I had left, which is from that soil compost veggie company. And then I used the horse manure that I got for free, and I topped it off. I also put amendments. I put the Nature Safe 855. I put some alfalfa meal. I put bone and blood meal and some azomite. Those are the amendments that I added to this bed. And then in the midst of that, I had a prior engagement where I was helping my firearms instructor to set up her garden, and we planted 2 tomatoes, plum regal tomatoes. We direct sowed some bush beans, jade, and then we planted 2 cucumbers. We also planted 2 okra. We added some black cow manure to her beds, and then we added the Nature Safe 855 and alfalfa meal. And then after that, we went on ahead and watered it in and put another fertilizer just around the base of the plants and put a mulch on it, and we watered it in. So her garden is done. I will put some pictures in so you can see. I'm super excited that I was able to help her out. I just love doing that. And then I came back home, finished off shoveling compost, adding it to the beds, and then finally, thank you, Lord, putting all those peppers in those beds. I still have a lot to plant, but I'm not doing that till tomorrow. So there will be a part 2 to this. So let me go ahead and end this because y'all been with me all day. Also, thank you so much to all my new subscribers, all those that continue to watch me, all of my subscribers. My name is Zulema in Dolores' Garden, named after my grandmother, Zone 8B, Middle Georgia. And until next time, my friends, my garden family and friends, peace and love in Dolores' Garden. Bye.